This is the Deep Violet Podcast. Welcome. My name is Vittoria, and I sit with artists asking them why they do what they do and how they got to this point. Today's episode is with Ray Hwang, who is a New York-based artist. He's originally from Los Angeles, but moved to New York in 2013, where he got his BFA at the School of Visual Arts. In 2023, he was part of the Musi residency in the UK, and that same year, he did a solo show titled Lambient Fire at the Latitude Gallery in New York. It was such an honor to sit down in his studio and discuss his practice. I always find myself completely locked into his work, trying to discover some sort of narrative in these images, looking for clues. So it was really so wonderful to hear about the intent and the care behind each material and mark. At the beginning of the episode, we speak a bit about a work that he was, an image that he was working on, and the significance of a paper that he was using. Something else that I find myself wondering is if I'm looking at a landscape from afar or if I'm looking at an image super zoomed in. One of my favorite aspects of his work is he creates such beautiful luminosity and light. It really looks like his paintings are glowing and alive. I really appreciated hearing about his images and how they're born and what process they go to before they're presented to us. It was really such a joy and such a delight, and I am sure you're going to enjoy hearing more about it. It was so fascinating. So without further ado, enjoy the episode. I hope it brings some light to your day.
Your recent show, how was that?
Yeah, I mean, it was good. It was like my first solo show in New York, so I think I was pretty nervous, and I made, for me, I was like, I'm gonna try to make as many paintings as I can and then curate down because, they can't all be hits.
Yeah.
But I think it went pretty well. It was pretty well received, and the gallery was happy with it. I was happy with it.
That's awesome.
Hopefully more to come.
Yeah, for sure. So I was gonna just get right into it.
Yeah.
How would you define your practice, like speaking about materials and topics and all that?
Yeah, I would say I'm primarily a painter, even though I think I broadly just would describe myself more as like an artist because I'm interested in all types of art. Mm-hmm. Not that I'm opposed to like painting in general or anything like that, but like if someone took away painting, I'd be like, okay,
I can do something else.
I'll just do something else. It's not a big deal for me.
Okay, yeah.
Someone gave me $1 million, be like, you can't paint anymore. I'd be like,
okay, I'll figure it out.
I'll be a sculptor now. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I would say mostly painting. I paint primarily in acrylic paint. I work in a lot of layers. And I'm always kind of experimenting with other things on the side.
Yeah.
So,
And we were talking about this work here, which I love.
Yeah.
It has like paper on it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you've done before? Is that something that you're just kind of like working through right now?
Yeah, it's something that I've worked with before on smaller scales and in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Specific paper I chose to use because it's called Joss paper. I don't know if you're familiar with Joss paper, but it's this paper that in Asian cultures you would fold into typically money shapes and then burn, so that you're whatever you burn you would send to your ancestors in the afterlife.
Wow.
So it's like if you fold into money, you're like sending money to the afterlife for your ancestors to use.
That's so funny to think that you would need money.
Yeah, it's that's part of why I chose it. Honestly, it's kind of
that's really interesting.
It's really no, it's so humorous that like capitalism follows you into the afterlife.
Yeah, I hope not. That would really suck. I mean, that's such an interesting gesture.
Yeah,
being like, I gotta send the money.
I know. Yeah, but the idea of like burning something or destroying something to send to your family really kind of resonated with me, especially during COVID when my family's in Southern California. So like the idea of like destroying something as an act of like sentiment or something. As like imbued into this material that's like it inherently has its own history and meanings. So that's why I started working with paper initially. Yeah.
I'm really glad I asked. Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah. What was it called again?
It's called Joss paper. Yeah, and another interesting thing is it's like designed to look and feel and imitate something of value, right? But it is actually pretty worthless.
Wow.
Like you can buy entire stacks of them for like a couple bucks,
but it's like made in a way to look like
super, gold or something, so that it, when it transfers over the whatever astral into the afterlife, it becomes real.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's very strange, and it's very it's like interesting materially to me. So that's why I kind of started working with that material.
I love having like work that has subtle loaded materials or like loaded gestures. You know what I mean? Like no one would be like, oh, that's what that is.
Yeah.
But there's so much meaning packed into just like a strip of paper.
Yeah.
I love that. And kind of speaking on that, is there like a specific message that you're trying to give, or like a theme that you work in that you're trying to tell the audience, or?
I don't think I'm trying to like tell a specific message, but more as much as I'm trying to just like create work that is like very indicative of who I am as a person. You know, I'm not trying to like convince anyone of anything, whatever. It's not, you know, my work's not, it feels a little almost propaganda-ish if I feel like artwork is trying to convince you of a message.
100%.
Rather than just being like, this is how I feel, this is what I think, this is what is coming out of my brain in this way. Take it or leave it, you know.
Is it like, I guess more, I'm just curious because your work is more on the abstract side.
Sure.
So what does your work speak about?
Yeah, it's funny because I have been described as an abstractionist
I
by
was
many.
careful to say fully abstract.
No, that's totally
leans on abstract.
I'm glad you brought it up because I really don't think of myself as an abstract painter, nor do I like describe myself as any type of painter. Just I'm a painter.
Yeah.
But a lot of my paintings start off pretty representational. I do like a pretty fleshed out drawing almost of like of an object that I use.
Of an object?
Not always objects, or like compositions that include objects or symbols or things that, you know, exist.
Yeah.
But then I use those drawings as like an armature for the painting. So it's like it acts as the structure for kind of the abstract shapes and forms to kind of work the painting. Like this one in particular, like you can still see a little bit of it like here with the text, maybe like over here. But like, you know, I'm kind of starting off with these things that hold their own meaning, and then I'm using it as a structure to build the painting on and pull images from the painting as well.
That's interesting, and I totally respect like if you consider your work more like representational, but that was really interesting because I was speaking with my friend who's also a painter about abstract art because I really wanted to like try to do something more abstract because at the time my work was more representational, and I was like, how do you do that? And she was like, well, I'm not like going into the painting being like, this is going to be abstract and this is just going to be like a composition of color. She was like, no, like I actually have like a structure and like an image that I'm following, or like a landscape or whatever. So it's interesting that you're describing that your process is kind of like that, like deconstructing maybe images.
Yeah, because I think
not to like try to over describe your work.
No, I really love hearing how people kind of read it, you know. But I think abstraction as a general concept, like it kind of originated as abstractions of things,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like the Mondrian paintings are kind of abstractions of like city grids, like things like that. So it's like they come from somewhere.
Yeah.
They're not just random
shapes and stuff.
Yeah, generally.
Yeah, but I love to hear it. And how often do you think about, because you say like you're not trying to make like propaganda and like forcing people to like understand what your work is about, but how often do you think about who's looking at your work and like and what they're thinking, and how often is that in your mind, or how has that changed? I feel like that happens a lot as an artist.
Probably almost never.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I almost never think about the viewer when I'm making my work, because it's not like I'm making work for someone to read in any specific way.
Right.
I just, like we were talking about earlier, I just make it because I need to do it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like an inherent, intrinsic.
Yeah.
Like there's no.
You must.
I must do it.
Yeah.
Actually, I would describe it more maybe like in like addiction or something.
Yeah, I know, 100%. I mean, I feel like if you're a creative person, it becomes part of like one of those like necessities, and like you need to eat, you need to sleep,
and you
you
breathe.
need to make something.
Yeah.
Which is like very human. I
Mhm.
mean, I feel like humans, we just make things.
Yeah.
It's just what we do.
Yeah, since the dawn of time.
That's why we're humans.
Yeah.
Because we made things.
Yeah.
So not often, like not ever really.
Yeah, I would say not really, almost ever.
That's
yeah.
beautiful. I love that. I feel like that's a really like difficult trap for a lot of like creatives. So it's like thinking about how it's perceived and all that.
Yeah.
Thinking about it while you're making it.
Yeah, because I think quite a lot about like how art making plays a role in my life, and like what I would do with or without it in different circumstances stuff. Like one thing I always ask myself when I'm in the studio is just like, whatever I'm making, it's like, would I still make art if nobody else gave a shit and nobody else would ever see it?
Yeah.
And like I'm pretty sure I would. And if I have confidence in that, then I will
Keep
perpetually continue to be an artist.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, because like we were talking about before the interview, it's not like a guaranteed success. Like,
No.
yeah, and if that's what you're doing it for, that's going to be a really difficult street or like really difficult road, and you might as well do something else.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, like anything else.
Yeah, we were saying
Yeah.
anything
Anything
else.
Yeah.
And then on the like other hand, on the if you know you're not really thinking about people directly when you're making work, but your work obviously draws people in, like been doing quite well. What do you think draws people to your work?
From what I've heard, I don't know, from what I've heard, people really like seeing like spatially the layers and how like I'm layering different colors or like the light in the paintings. I think people appreciate the fact that I'm just very direct with like what I'm doing. You know, I'm not trying to hide anything.
Yeah.
If I'm hiding anything, it's in the painting. Figure it out. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's my responsibility to explain anything about my work to anyone. So it's like I think people just appreciate the fact that this is the thing I do. Here you go.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of make my work, and I'm kind of the belief that once you make your work and you put it out into the world, it doesn't really belong to you anymore. It just like belongs to the world.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like, I remember very early, like when I started being interested in art, I remember one of my teachers being like, a piece of art is not finished until it's seen. So kind of in that way.
That's fair.
Yeah. But that's interesting.
Like,
that you're honest, like your work is honest, and that's what you think like transcends. And I believe that.
Yeah, like I don't make it to do it for, I'm not thinking about any other reason other than like what can this painting do, like the art of painting or whatever. I'm not trying to like make work specifically to like sell paintings or to like get shows or to look good on Instagram or whatever. Like I don't really care about any of that.
Yeah.
Like, and if all that stuff comes, great. I want to make a career as an artist. Of
course, yeah. You're like, please.
Yes, I'm like, I would love to have those and like live and make a living.
Yeah.
But if none of that happens, I will still continue to make art forever.
That makes me so happy. That's like the best thing to hear. And kind of in that, what do you think happened like in your life to like in your childhood and like in your childhood, was there anything that you think drew you to the arts, or if you didn't have a certain experience that maybe it wouldn't have gone down this way?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think I've always just like been interested in making art regardless, but I would say childhood wise, like what really shaped me was like I learned from a really early age to like just teach myself how to figure stuff out. Like I never was allowed really to take art classes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like my parents were not like about me trying to be an artist.
They were like, no.
Yeah, I mean,
they're
immigrants, so they were like, go get like a real, study something that's like stable
of course,
give you a salary, insurance, all that stuff. So I kind of, I basically taught myself how to draw from watching like cartoons and like anime and like whatever on TV and just like copying it. And then just doing that on my homework, on whatever, my notebooks. Like I didn't even really have like sketchbooks growing up. You know how we think of like it's funny how we think of like art materials as like this precious thing now. It's like you have like linen or really nice watercolor paper. To me as a kid, that was like printer paper because it didn't have
100%.
lines. I was like, oh my god, printer paper. I could have.
It's so nice.
I know. So, but my dad used to get mad at me because like you're wasting printer paper.
I'm not wasting it.
Yeah, so I would draw on like my homework, you know, or in the margins of my line paper.
Notebooks.
My notebooks and stuff like that.
Oh, that's so lovely. So I don't know. That's such a. I like the way that you put that. Is like you taught yourself to figure it out. Like you were kind of forced to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
And you think that do you think that because it wasn't something that was like super invited, do you think that like that pushed you, like, or do you think it just kind of, like you said, like is something that you have to do and you just found no other?
Yeah, I wouldn't say like I understood it as like something that like really that was like, oh, this is pushing me. It was just like I need to do this, so I need to figure out a way to do it. You know, like, oh, if I can't have access to these, then I will just do this.
Printer paper.
I will like draw here because whatever. If I don't have this, I don't have color pencils, I will steal them from my classroom at school. You know, like I don't know, like stuff like that. So I'm like, I just figured it out somehow. It wasn't like, it's kind of like adapting to the circumstance, you know. I didn't really think of it as like, I really didn't think of it as like I'm being like held back by my family.
No.
You know, or anything like that. I'm just like, well, they don't want me to take art classes. They don't want me to have this because it costs money and, you know, things are expensive. 100%. And I was like, okay, so I will figure out another way to do what I need to do to make art.
When did you like start doing it more seriously, or like decide? Because I feel like there's a point, obviously, where you're like, okay, this is what I'm gonna dedicate myself to.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you're a kid, you're not like, this is what I'm gonna. You're just making, right? And there's a switch at a certain point. When do you think you had that switch? I'm curious.
It was probably around high school when I was deciding like for colleges and things like that. I mean, I was never really a good student. Looking back, it's just like my brain just didn't work that way, you know.
Didn't get it.
To like learn in that type of way. So for me, I used to actually study programming when I was in high school. I thought I was going to go into programming. So I did like a couple of years of programming, like the AP, whatever, and I was like pretty good at it for that level, you know, like a high school kid. But I think at some point I was working on something and I was just like, I can't sit in front of a computer for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
like it was just like literally, you know.
Oh God.
So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do art, and I ended up, because I didn't have time to like really prepare a portfolio or whatever. I didn't know anything about art schools. I did no research on anything, so I just went to community college instead. And I was like, whatever, fuck all these other schools. Just go to community college and then work on my portfolio, and so that I could transfer to an art school.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. That's such. Yeah, I don't know. It just really sounds. Again, we've been saying this the whole time, but it really just sounds like it's been like a very matter of fact of like, this is just what I'm gonna do, and I gotta do it, and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
in a natural way.
I think at some point I realized if I'm gonna do it, I'm just gonna do it, because I was just like, you know what, like there's nothing in this world that I will work as hard at as than art. Like regardless, like anything. Yeah. So like I might as well just do it because I know that I'm willing to like just go for it. Yeah. You know, I'm not gonna hold back. Yeah.
That's a really good way to put it. Like, this is the thing that I will work hardest at.
Yeah, like nothing will, like I will work harder at this thing than anything else in my life, because this is the thing I care about.
100%. And then throughout your like career, what jobs? I feel like artists have had like the most interesting jobs. I always say this, but like, what job have you had like not art related and like art related? Like, I
Yeah.
love hearing about.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like, I think my first like job where I got paid was like I was in high school and I worked for like my uncle, like working. I don't know. I don't want to say it was like a sweatshop, but it felt like a sweatshop because I was sweating and it was in a room with machinery.
It was in a shop and I was sweating and there was machines.
I mean, I wasn't like mistreated, like because he was my uncle, but like I was definitely like, this sucks. I'm like sweaty and I'm just like.
What were you making?
I was making like booklets for like, I don't know, some like fashion school, like, you know, those pamphlets. So it's like grabbing pamphlets and then like stapling them on this machine and then like shrink wrapping them and then like whatever. So it's just kind of like a very assembly line type of thing, but it was like fine, you know, like I wasn't
not
forced
to throw your uncle under the bus.
I was not forced to do this, you know. I wanted the income and that was a job that a high schooler could do, you know. So that was like my first like job.
Yeah.
But I would consider like, and then, you know, I worked all sorts of jobs. I was in school. I worked at a library. I was an RA. You know, once I graduated, I worked at a bakery. I cut cakes. I got really good at cutting cakes now.
Oh, wonderful. What a beautiful talent.
Yeah, it was like, it came in.
Art and cutting cakes.
Yeah, if you ever need a circular cake cut into 10 perfect slices, I'm very good at that.
Wonderful. That's so good.
Yeah, and then after that, I worked at this like program where we taught students robotics.
Oh wow.
Yes, I used to teach students robotics, like kids.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I had to learn a little bit about like circuitry and like basic engineering-y things.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then it was actually quite fun because it was like a creative job in a lot of ways, but like not art related.
Yeah.
So it kind of allowed me to not think about my art, and then when I got into studio, I was able to work on my own stuff. And also I really enjoyed the fact that the work environment was like pretty cool. Like a lot of my coworkers were also artists.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
just, you know, I think that place did like to hire a lot of artists just by nature of you were very like quick on our feet, like you're very adaptable to different situations and things like that.
Yeah, 100%. And how do you think that, or sorry, I also wanted to know, did you have any like, aside from that one, but did you have any like more art related jobs, or has it just been like odd jobs here and there?
Mostly odd jobs. I briefly worked as an artist assistant for this artist, but like I think I lasted like 1 month, not because I was fired, but I was like, I'm not getting anything out of this. And it's like a lot of, I just like literally was just doing canvases all day and standing things.
Oh my gosh.
And I kind of initially only took that job because I thought I could like, you know, at least like I'd be doing stuff, but we can like talk and blah blah. I could learn something about the world of art and what it means to be a working artist.
Some sort of like mentorship a little bit.
Yeah, maybe like a little bit, right? But it was like, I was like, here, just all these canvases, bye. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll just gesso canvases for like
just
all day.
quietly.
Yeah, and they were like big ones too.
Standing.
So it was a lot. So I wasn't really getting much out of that, and the pay was so low, so I was like, I just left. Yeah,
that's super fair. And how do you think that, and more speaking about like the not art related jobs, how do you think that those affected your art career? Or not career, but like your art practice?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they like really affected my practice in any like very direct way. Maybe in just the fact that it gave me like some sense of like learning how to balance my time and my energy and like, you know, like what was important to me, things like that. Like when I was teaching robotics, every time I would like get a raise or promotion, I basically would just ask to work less hours so that I can make the same amount of money, because I don't require, I'm like a very low maintenance person. I don't require a lot of money to live. So I was like, oh, so if I'm making more money, give me less hours so I can be in my studio more. So that I kind of like, you know, try to.
Oh wow. Yeah. That's so smart.
Because my priority is always to my art practice. You know, everything that is like in my life kind of centers
around that.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like, I feel like I always introduce it like this question, but you know, if you're like going into this practice, it's like really important to like know the ins and outs. But how, like, what supports do you think you had in your life that brought you to a place, or where do you think you like lacked in support, or do you have like any financial help or anything like that that kind of brought you to a place?
I'm not really sure. Can you be more specific with that?
Yeah, for sure. So
Sure.
kind of what I'm asking is like, I feel like art is a very difficult career.
Sure.
In the sense of like, we were talking about it, like you don't really get any money and until you do, you know? So it's just a lot of like work, and it's like really hard to balance things. So I think it's like important to know like where people have been helped, you know, either that's like scholarships or like grants or like family support, like, you know, like what opportunities or like financial help have you had? Do you think that brought you to a place or that that like helped you?
Yeah,
to a different place?
yeah. I feel like I'm pretty middle of the road on that. Like, you know, I'm never, even though my parents did not want me to go into art, they were never like, you're not allowed to do this, we're gonna disown you, like be homeless. Like I never felt like I was in danger of like being homeless or like if it didn't work out and I'm like, oh shit, something's bad, I can always go home and they would take care of me. I felt pretty comfortable about that. But at the same time, it's not like they pay for my stuff. You know, really.
Yeah.
So I've been pretty mostly independent, you know, with obviously, you know, there's tough times every once in a while when, you know, friends and family help out. And I've had professors like when I was in community college help me out a lot. They really looked out for me and just were like, hey, you should apply to this opportunity. You should like look into this school. I had a professor who was pretty much the reason I came to New York to go to school. SVA did a presentation at my community college that I totally did not even go to. I didn't even know about the existence of this school, right? I literally was like, oh, it's during class time, I would rather paint. So I stayed in the studio and painted, and then my professor and some other students went to the presentation. And when he came back, he was like,
you gotta go.
He's like, you gotta go to New York. Because I was considering another school at the time, Laguna College. And they had offered me way more money than SVA. But I was like, he was like, you're just not gonna flourish in the same way. He's like, just go to New York. And, like, and I was like, all right, I'll do it. And at the time I was like, I kind of wanted to get out of California too. New York was like very far away.
You know? And you wanted to just like leave.
So I kind of like slapstick put together a portfolio and like applied in like a month. And then somehow got in cell phone photos and everything.
Cell phone photos? I think I did that too. I definitely at that level didn't have like a proper like photography set up with lighting and stuff. No.
It was like very like, I put it on a wall and I just kind of like squatted and tried to make it square.
It's on the floor and you're like, I did that too. I had like drawings and I just had them on the floor and I was like, that's a white wall, right?
I was like, that looks fine.
That's funny, but thank God for that professor.
He really looked out for me and he helped me apply to one of the, like, I think there was one specific instance too where he's like, I'm recommending you for the scholarship and I think you needed a recommendation to apply for it. And he's like, but you have to drive your portfolio across town like right now. Like the deadline's like today. And I was like, what? He's
That's
like,
an amazing teacher.
And he's like, go do it right now. Like, I think you have a good shot. And so I did it and then I got it.
That's lovely. Well, yay for him. Shout out to that teacher. And do you think, because my other question was going to be like, what opportunities, like bigger opportunities, I guess, do you think brought you to the stage that you're at right now?
I think the biggest one for me that stands out to me was when I got accepted into the Plumline residency, run by New York City Crit Club in New York. It's a Brooklyn residency. The timing just kind of was like, it worked out because at the end of 2021, COVID, all sorts of things were changing, you know. So a lot of people at my company got laid off from that teaching job with the robotics. And right around that time of end of 2021, I had gotten accepted into that residency. And so, you know, I had some savings. I decided just like not work for the duration of that residency and really commit. So, you know, it was like 6 weeks. I pretty much went into this beautiful 500 something square foot studio that they gave me for 6 weeks, 8 to 10 hours a day, and just like made paintings. I made probably, I don't know, somewhere between 10 to 15 paintings in 6 weeks.
Beautiful.
But that really kind of opened a lot of doors for me. You know, people started asking me for studio visits. People started, I think, you know, they would promote me every now and then. Like, and just like it kind of snowballed from there. And I think that was really a turning point for me.
Yeah. Was that the first time that you had that much time dedicated to your practice?
Yeah, it's the first time I could
That's
just
so beautiful.
be like, feel what it's like to be like a full-time, like I can go into my studio every day and just be there all day and
Yeah.
make work. And it was beautiful and it was great. And like I never would have had the opportunity if those things didn't align,
Wow.
you know. I don't know if I ever would have had the courage to leave my job.
Yeah, no, that's a scary thing to do.
Yeah.
That's a scary thing to do.
But
that's so wonderful.
It felt like a good time to take the leap. It was my first artist residency.
Yeah.
I mumble, sorry.
No, you're good. I got you.
And then I was kind of like, you know, like I've been kind of betting on myself this whole time to some extent, but like let's really
Yeah.
give it a shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you just really have to have a lot of courage to do this career
Yeah,
the whole time.
that layoff was kind of like the kick I needed.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, fuck it, let's do it.
I feel like a lot of people that do like creative careers like this, like getting fired can sometimes be the best thing that happens to you.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, I might still be there today if fucking
Yeah.
you know, that never happened.
Yeah. 100%.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting laid off.
Well, it was COVID, right?
COVID,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it was just like the laws, you know, around, because we were teaching kids and there's a lot of laws about kids being in person, schooling, blah, blah, blah. So I think we were betting on a lot of things like changing to the point where we could like really host classes again. And
Yeah.
they just didn't happen fast enough.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
weren't making enough money.
That
I
makes
totally understand. It's
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
I don't hold an ill will.
No.
Yeah.
Of course not. And then how do you think that? Because you were saying, well, I guess you kind of did just explain it, but I'm really interested in like the transition of a career and like how much you put out, like or reach out for opportunities, and how much people reach out to you, and how that's like kind of evolved. I guess you kind of said after that residency, it kind of changed a little bit where you got more reached out to, but how is it for you?
To be honest, I'm like the worst at that type of thing. I can't actually think of really any instances where I'm like reaching out to people.
Yeah.
It's almost always people reach out to me.
That's awesome.
I mean, I reach out to like artists like that I like respect. You know, we're like, hey, let's do studio visits. I want to learn more about you. I think you're a cool, really good artist.
Yeah.
And then we do studio visits, but like galleries and things like that, I almost never.
You're like not much.
I just worry about
overall
this.
guy.
Yeah.
But like the residency applied to that. Yeah.
They just reached out to me.
Oh, they reached out to you.
I didn't even apply. Because they are invite only.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Congratulations on it.
Thank you.
That's lovely.
Yeah, it's very lucky. It's very fortunate, you know. And I think a lot of it. It's not that I don't do nothing, right? I show up for.
No, of course.
I show up to people for like openings. I show up for my friends. I show up for
Yeah.
other artists I like and respect. And in turn, I think a lot of people just like say nice things about me, which is very kind. And then that kind of goes around, and I think it kind of comes around to me, which is cool.
100%. I feel like, I don't know, with our career, it's like, it just depends what avenue you're going to go down. There's people who like, I don't know, I feel like applying all the time isn't necessarily like the best thing. I think, like you're saying, showing up and putting work into your practice, that's like the ideal balance, in my mind at least.
Yeah, I try to live my life in a way where like I just control the things I can, and then don't worry too much about the things I can't. I can't really control if people like my work.
Yeah.
You know, I just make it. But the things I can control is like being here and putting in the work and trying to make the best work I can, and treating people well. So I show up for things and I treat people well, and I try to be nice to people, and it kind of comes around to me.
That's such a good mantra. Be nice to people and put in good work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all I can do for the most part.
Yeah, 100%. And then this one's funny, but what do you consider success, like a successful artist to be? And the follow-up to that is where you're at right now. Do you consider yourself successful?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think everyone's definition of success is very different.
Yeah, 100%.
Depending on their goals.
Yeah.
For me, like I do consider myself very successful because not because I have shows or whatever, but I feel like it's very fortunate, very privileged that I get to live in literally probably the most expensive city to live in North America, the center of the art world in a lot of ways. I get to live here. I had to have a studio. I get to survive. I'm not worried about being homeless.
Yeah.
You know, I have a community of artists who like we respect each other, we love each other's work, we show up for each other. It's like very, very, very lucky, you know. I'm not rich, but like you can always, you know, want more things. You can be like, I would like to have a studio with windows.
That's nice.
That would be great. I would love to see the sunlight in here, but you know, I'm not unaware of like how lucky I am to like be in this position either. You know, there's very many artists in this world who do not have even half of the opportunities and resources that I have. So I consider myself very well off, very successful.
That's wonderful. I feel like that's also like another thing that's really important if you're gonna go down this career, is like being able to know, like being able to recognize what good things have happened and like having gratitude around that.
Yeah, you just,
so important.
Sometimes you're just lucky too. You know, like
100%.
You know, you find an affordable studio, or you live in an apartment where like your roommates are cool with you stretching canvases in the living room, which you don't have time. You know, so it's like, you know, like you just have to be aware of like keeping things in perspective. You know, like
for sure.
I gotta come here and be here all morning with you and talk about art and shit like that. But I don't have to be at work today. It's great.
That is wonderful. And then speaking about here, what does the studio mean to you? What does it mean to be in the studio?
Yeah, I mean, I love the studio. It's like, I think a lot of artists think of their studio as like their like safe space or like haven, or like, you know, some people are like super private about their studio. Some people are like, anyone can come. Like, see what I'm up to. I'm kind of like somewhere in between probably. But yeah, I mean, I love being here. It's like the only, like, it's like one of the only places in the world I feel like this is like mine. You know, like this is like my space.
My space, yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta just come here and I gotta make art. It's one of the very few things that is like very fulfilling to me in life. So it's like, it's like any time that I get to be here, whether I'm like even having a good day, bad day. Sometimes I come here and I'm not even painting because I'm having just like a shit day, and I just like will draw, or I'll hang out, or I'll do some, or I'll clean, or I'll do some other menial task, stretch canvas, you know. But it's all for me, and I'm doing it like because it makes me like, it fulfills me in some way.
Yeah, of course. Have you had like shared studios before, or?
Yeah, I mean, this is a shared studio, but
but like, wait, do you split this with someone else? Like this room?
Yeah, like my studio mate and I, we split this room, but we kind of generally have different working hours.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we're not always like, it's not like a schedule, but typically we just have different working hours.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Damn. I'm like trying to see like whose work is where.
Oh yeah, I mean that, like, because he's an oil painter, so like his oil painter's over there, and like those canvases are his. But yeah, I mean, we're also like friends, so it works out.
No, yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah. Sharing a studio can also be like really beautiful and like really lovely, because you get to like see what other people are doing. And get from that energy. And then what do you think your balance is between studio life and outside life?
Oh, that's a hard part.
Yeah,
that's a hard question. I think I would like to be, there's like days where I think I would like to be here more, or weeks where I would like to be here more. I'm like, oh, I'm not here enough. And then there's times where I'm like, oh, but I have to like go to things, support my friends. I want to like also, you know, make sure I'm putting time and energy into like my friendships and
of course,
like things like that, and my relationships with people in my community, and also just like, you know, mental health stuff, you know. Like I play basketball, and to me that's like one of the few things that like really like relaxes me. It's very enjoyable. So I'm like just balancing all those things. It's hard.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really difficult.
Yeah.
I also feel like in the studio, time kind of like collapses.
Yeah.
And like you'll be here for like 5 hours, and you'll be like, that was 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, especially in a place with no windows. I have like no sense of time sometimes.
Oh my gosh, my studio doesn't have windows either, and I'll go in at like 3, and I'll be like bright and nice, and then I'll like look at the time, and it's like 11 p.m. and I'm like,
what the fuck?
What happened? Because you don't have like the sense of time. It's really, it really throws you off.
That happens to me all the time.
I hate that. And I kind of love it as well, because you like don't have a distraction of like, oh, I should get going. It's like getting dark. You know?
I can usually tell when I start getting like hungry. I'm like, fuck, I'm really hungry. I'm like painting, but I'm thinking about like
food. And you're like, that's not what I start drawing a burger. I'm like, wait, that's not what I was trying to do. And then also, what about sketchbooks? Do you have any sketchbooks, and what does a sketchbook mean to you, and how important is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me it is like really important. I do think of like my sketchbook as like a really big part of my studio practice. It's not like I'm not like making sketches for paintings or anything like that, but like I carry a sketchbook with me almost everywhere. I draw on it all the time. I think it's really good for me to like just have a place to like work out ideas. Like I paint in them, I like kind of collage, I do like, I'm just like seeing like, will this work? Will this not work? Just put my grocery list, whatever. It's just like a place for me to put my thoughts.
Yeah.
So, and I'm always referring back to them. So it is really important to me to have that.
Is it like super precious, or is it like, but you said like kind of grocery list, so it's
it's not like I'm making finished works in there. Sometimes, I mean, I do spend a lot of time sometimes on like one spread. I'll spend like hours on like one spread of my sketchbook. I'm like painting in it and shit. But like I wouldn't consider it like a super precious object. Like people can like look through it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's mostly like a place for me just like work out my thoughts.
Go here.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the best place. That's the best thing for it to be, in my mind at least. Like a sketchbook to be like just a place to like exercise a creative muscle and like have your brain be like visualized, I guess, or your thoughts be visualized.
Yeah.
And outside of like outside of like a sketchbook and things like that, what do you have outside of your life, like not art related, that inspires you, or where do you go to for inspiration, do you think?
Let me see. I would say I'm like always super consciously looking for inspiration. I just kind of like live it's like a lot to figure out like the balance of all the things anyway.
No, of course.
But I think I think I mentioned it before, but like playing basketball really helps me kind of like recenter myself a lot, because I always think of it as like my art is like something that is like it's not that I don't think of it as like joy. I think of it as like fulfillment. It doesn't make me like, I don't make paintings or I don't make art because it makes me happy. It's like something I need to do, right? It's an intrinsic thing. But I play basketball because it makes me happy. And it's like one of those places where like, if I'm having a really bad day, I'll just go to the park for like 2 hours and I'll just put up 100 shots or something, feel good about myself. So I don't know, for me it's like, I know that that's a place I have to do that. But it's also one of those things actually that taught me that you can kind of find art in all places.
Yeah. 100%.
Because once I started watching it more, and not to get too into like sports.
No, please, go ahead. I'm interested.
I think about like how sports, like when you understand what's happening on a deeper level, you're like, there's so many parallels.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's not just sports, that's like almost every facet of life.
100%.
There's so many parallels that you can, or things that are related that you can pull from life and from sports and other activities, whatever, that can apply to your art practice, whether it's like habits or ways of thinking or like moves, or just like, I think about like painting moves, people always relate to like dance, and then like, is dance not different than the way that like someone runs a play in like a sport, in like a game or something, So like seeing the relationship between all those things, I think helps me ultimately in my studio practice, because it helps me shift my ways of thinking,
Yeah, no, but that's why I love asking this question, because like every single person that I ask will have like a completely different like answer, and that's what I'm interested in, because it kind of like, to me at least, it sheds light on a creative person's brain, because we kind of like skew everything into like a creative, like everything, like things that, I mean, for me, I don't get inspiration from basketball, but like obviously for you, like that's something that brings inspiration, and like you can, if you're a creative person, I think you switch everything to inspiring. Not everything, but like a lot of things. Yeah,
because I think being an artist or a creative person, you just kind of like see the world through a lens.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like training your brain to see things in different ways.
Yeah.
And not necessarily like, what can I learn from drilling a basketball that will translate to a paintbrush?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like the artist that I interviewed the other day, not his whole thing, like he paints a lot of different things, but one current theme that he paints is milk crates. and that's his thing. And I was like, yeah, like I never really appreciated milk crates until
yeah. I was like, what is it about milk crates that's like so interesting to you? Tell
but
me
it
more.
was so interesting.
Yeah.
It was like really beautiful, intricate paintings.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love hearing about that. And then I'm always curious in like the relationship to ourselves as creatives and how that's like evolved. Did you ever feel like giving up on your practice, or did you ever feel like you didn't believe in yourself, and how has that changed? And if you did feel like giving up, why didn't you?
It's not, I don't know if I've ever felt like giving
It's
up.
a very dramatic way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, like definitely there have been like points where like I have been like, can I do this as a career? Like, not like will I make art for the rest of my life, but like can I sustain this in a way where I can like live in a society, like make money and pay my rent and like pay for food and like just survive, right?
Yeah.
It's like, or do I need to do something else and then just make art, you know, and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's a really difficult life, and I would not suggest it to anyone who doesn't need to do it it. But yeah, I think if you're a real artist, you just have to figure it out somehow, because you just need to do it. So I wouldn't say I've ever felt like giving up or anything in that way. Yeah.
And how about like believe? Again, these terms are so cheesy. Did you ever like stop believing? But like it's, I don't know. I think there's so many ways that it can go for an artist. Like some people are super self-deprecating the whole time, and some people are like very confident in their work the whole time. And it's interesting to hear like both sides of that, and like the people in between as well. Like
it's probably like both. Like I'm very, I wouldn't say like self-deprecating. Like I'm not like you're a worthless piece of shit, whatever. But like I'm like so hard on myself in the studio because I hold myself to a really high standard. But because I do that, I think I'm like, yeah, it's not like anything anyone says about my work doesn't really faze me, because I just like,
you said it all.
I've said it all to myself 10 times worse. Like people, you know, I was speaking to my friend I just did a visit yesterday at her studio, and she was asking me about like hard crits because she was in grad school, and I'm like, I honestly don't know what to tell you. I've never really felt like I had a hard crit, because like anything anyone has said to me in a crit or whatever, it's not anything worse than I've said to myself. I'm like really hard on myself, but that kind of like brings to me like a confidence to like going out in the world. Like I also, in that same vein, maybe I don't really feel like there's any artist that I'm like, I will never be as good as you. You know, like I really do think, like maybe delusionally, that I have the potential to be just as accomplished or as whatever that means successful as an artist as anyone.
Yeah. I think that again that's a really key, I mean everyone can do things in their own way, but I think that that's a really key mindset to have, where you're like, I've poked holes in like my practice so much that I've arisen with like so many questions and so many like, you know, like it's what your work is and what standard it is at, and that brings in confidence, and that duality is like so integral to that work, to your practice. Yeah,
exactly. Like you work on this so much, you know, like maybe when I was younger it would have affected me more, but at least for years now, and certainly now, like nothing anyone can say can affect me anymore. Like it's like when I was in school, one of the things I was like, you know, I can't really control anyone. Like I said before, I can't control what anyone feels about my art or thinks about my art. But the one thing that's like undeniable is like the number of hours I'm in the studio. You know, if I put like 30 hours a week into my studio, like you can't deny that. That's quantifiable.
100%.
Like I bust ass at this.
Yeah, 100%. Like the hard facts of like the work that you put in is something that no one can take away from
and that backs my confidence in my work, because I'm like, I don't care what you say. I really go at this.
I've been working.
Yeah, I've been doing this. Like it doesn't matter. You saw my work for 10 seconds.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And then you're gonna make a judgment on me. I'm here, like, come to me when you looked at my work for 30 hours.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
Yeah.
No, I like that, because that's like a good loophole to have. Like being like, no, I know the work that I put in. Like no one will take that away from you.
Yeah, you can't.
And you have.
That's undeniable.
Yeah. No, that's a good trick. Now to kind of like shift it to the like gallery aspect of it, because I feel
let's
like
talk about it.
It's so daunting. Not daunting, but like obscure, and like also, like, I feel like every gallery is so different. But what has it been like for you going through gallery relationships? Like, how has that been?
I kind of like, I have to understand that, like, I think for me what helps is like you just have to at some point realize most galleries are just like businesses.
Yeah,
and you navigate them like business relationships.
Such, yeah.
But you know, the same philosophy kind of applies in my whatever. Anyway, it's like, yeah, just try to treat people well, and then if they treat you well, then maybe you can work something out, work together, figure something out. Because you know, you want it to be a mutually beneficial relationship.
Yeah.
But you also want to be aware of just like there are a lot of galleries out there that maybe don't have the artist first, you know.
Yeah.
And there are the galleries out there who maybe like have the artist first, but they don't have the resources to support you that in the way you want. You know, every gallery is a little different. But I think you also, as an artist, need to understand their point of view. Like don't be a diva, you know.
Yeah,
I'm like, I really, especially here in New York, I'm always just like, dude, there's so many fucking talented artists in New York City.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like, how do you think that you can get away with being a diva? They'll just like be like, fuck you, and move on to another talented artist. There's like millions of, like, maybe not millions, but there's like so many talented people who don't have opportunities.
Yeah.
And like they're just waiting, right?
Yeah.
They're there.
They're waiting for the spot.
Yeah, nobody has time for someone to be like piece of shit.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, because they're people too, you know.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a relationship a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's a relationship.
Yeah.
You're building a relationship with the gallery.
Yeah. And kind of like touching into what we were talking about, like success and what success means. But this is a kind of tricky one because it's hard to like speak for them. But what do you think galleries consider a successful artist?
Oh, it really
depends.
It really depends. I think on the goals of the gallery. I mean, I think some art galleries are just like, yeah, if an artist sell work, can they keep me in, keep the lights on for me?
Yeah,
you know.
100%.
And then some artists, some galleries maybe think of artists like, hey, I think this person's really good. It might not pay off right now, but maybe if we can like continue to support them, it'll pay off in the long run, you know, or something. I can't speak for them too much. I've never worked at a gallery.
Yeah, of course.
But you know, from what little I know, from what I hear, I'm like, I think it just really depends on the gallery.
Yeah, 100%. And now speaking more about like, you know, we're talking about galleries and like the business aspect of stuff. What do you think? I'm always curious about this, but what do you think about like printing and like reproducing your work?
Like making prints and things like that.
I ask painters this.
Oh, that's totally fine. I think I have no problem with anyone doing whatever they need to survive. You want to sell prints, like make money so you can pay your studio rent, like go for it.
Yeah.
I personally don't make prints of just like my paintings or like generally, actually ever. I don't really do it because, and it's not because I have anything against prints, it's because I don't think a print can accurately capture what the painting does, and that's not what I want.
No, 100%. I agree.
Like I'll make prints like for things that are designed or thought of in the printing process in beginning with. Like I'll make, you know, if I want to make a risograph print or etching or like a lithograph, whatever, I'll make that.
But that's like a
that's not reproduction of a painting.
Yeah.
Because it's like a print.
That's
I don't think
art in itself.
Yeah, I don't think a print will ever do what my paintings do, and so I don't want that to be out there in that way.
No, 100%. No, I agree with that. It's always interesting to hear because I feel like right now it's so like there's such a mass production of things. You know, people are trying to like just make the most of what they have, and which is totally understandable. But it's like I think it's important for people to hear like why some artists don't do that because I think there's a lot of importance in like seeing the actual piece in person and having the actual piece there is very important.
Yeah, because I think some artists, they're like, I want my work to be in people's homes. I want them to have something affordable that they can have that's representative of my work. So, you know, for me, that's like, I can make other prints, I make zines, I make books, I'm like, it is important to me to make other forms of accessible art, you know, and like not everyone, I'm like very aware, like artwork generally goes for a lot of money and we want to make money because artists work hard on their stuff, you know, like, but yeah, generally to the average person, you know, they're not buying a painting for thousands of dollars or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but you know, you try to figure out different ways that you can make your work accessible to like other people who want your work.
Yeah, 100%. And then kind of on the same kind of topic, what do you think about social media? And what do you think? Yeah, what do you think about it?
What do you think about social media? I think it's like a little bit of a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You know, I think it could really help you and really hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially during COVID, like so many galleries and still do, like they find so many other artists on Instagram. They just like, you know, I got a lot of my opportunities. People just find me on Instagram. They just like DM me. You know, like
I find you on Instagram.
yeah, like I probably wouldn't have a lot of the opportunities I had if I didn't have an Instagram. But at the same time, you don't want to be beholden to that and thinking about it too much in your studio practice. I think because you know it never is a good thing, and this has happened to me where like you see something on Instagram and then you go see it in person and it's just not as good. You're like, oh, this painting's actually like worse in person than like I'm like, I thought this would be better. And I think there is a little bit of an unconscious like thought about that, you know, like what looks good on a digital screen. The reality is most people will see your work on a screen more than they will see it in person. You know, so like I don't really want to like fault anyone for unconsciously thinking that way when they're making their work, but I don't think it serves the nature of the progression of art that well. Yeah.
So like not put too much emphasis on it, but it's still like I think that is important in some way.
It's like a tool, right? And you want to use this tool in a way that benefits you, but doesn't ultimately hurt your art, because what should be the most important thing is like your art.
No, 100%. I agree with that. And then now we're in the final 5 questions.
Sure. Yeah.
So first, final question. Why did you say yes to this interview?
Oh, I don't know. You just seem like a nice person.
Thank you.
I'm like one of those people too who's not like, I'm like pretty private about my studio in general, but also like I'm a pretty transparently in terms of like sharing knowledge and talking with other artists. I like talking to other artists, learning different things, sharing my knowledge. It's like I wouldn't know all these things that I know if other people didn't help me along the way. So I want to spread that as well.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And then, do you suggest this career?
To whom? To whom?
Yes, in general.
As an artist, I think if you like, you know, I think if you need to be an artist, like you're like, I will do this till the day I die if nobody gave a shit. Like I think you should do it. I think it will be there's a lot of really fulfilling things about being an artist. You know? You can exchange ideas, like you get to be around such interesting people, interesting community. You learn so much about the world, right? You're constantly around people who are curious, who want to learn more, who push you. It's like really, really fulfilling. But if your goal as an artist is anything but that, I probably wouldn't. It's like, especially, you know, you go to school for art. Our school is really expensive. The return on investment is probably one of the worst ever. You know, like you can go to art school and spend $60,000 a year, and you might even get a master's degree in art, and you might not get a minimum wage job at a gallery. You know,
100%.
So it's like it's not really a smart career choice. Like, don't do it if you don't need to do it. You can still appreciate art and support art in so many ways. You could be a collector, you could be a dealer, you can open a gallery, you can do podcasts. I don't know, like whatever you want, right? But like if you're gonna commit to this life, it's an incredibly difficult way to live. Very, very, very hard, and you just have, and it's like one of those things. It's like you might work really, really fucking hard at this thing, and nobody will ever give a shit about it. You know?
It has to be a fully like self-fulfilling.
You have to really. It has to kind of like fulfill you in some way. Like, don't do it for the money.
No.
Definitely don't do it for the money. Don't do it for the fame. Like,
Don't
it's not really gonna make you famous.
No.
Probably, you know. But do it if you like can't think of any other way to live your life. I think.
That's a good piece of advice. And then, what do you think 3 qualities you need to be an artist? Off the top of your head.
Oh,
they don't have to be in order.
No, I think for sure, I think you need to have like a real curiosity about things. You know, I think you always have to kind of be wondering how things work or how things operate, and like stuff like that, just like to continue to push yourself so you're not just spinning your wheels a little bit. I think you need to, to be an artist, I think you definitely need to be curious. I think it would help if, you had some sort of like ability to harness failure, or like,
100%.
you will fail over and over and over and over and over again, right? You'll spend a lot of time failing and learning, really comfortable with failure. I think if you're like someone who's like constantly like, everything I need to do has to be a success before, I have to know it's a success before I do it, it's not gonna work out super well for you. And the third thing, I don't know, I think you have to have an ability to like be comfortable in isolation. Like you spend a lot of hours, alone, doing in your own thoughts, doing your own thing.
You have to be comfortable.
You have to be comfortable with that a little bit. You're not working like an office where you're just seeing people all the time.
No, 100%.
At least in the way that my studio practice, like I don't know, like everyone has their studio practice differently, but generally I would say.
No, I would say that that's pretty much how it is if you're doing it like full time. Well, not full time necessarily, but if you're dedicating your life to it, it's just you're in your head for a lot of the time.
Be really comfortable being in your own head.
You're not gonna like be painting and like talking to someone the whole time, No. You have to like concentrate. And then this one's kind of hard, so if you can't think of it off the top of your head, you can maybe like, I can ask you and you can send them to me and I can list them. But off the top of your head, three free emerging opportunities for emerging artists that you can think of.
Free to apply to, or free to get in, or free to like do if you get in? Like what's
free to do if you get in?
Free to do if you get in.
For emerging artists.
Yeah, I mean the first residency I did that really helped my career, the plumb line residency in Brooklyn, I think is a great one. Like it does cost a fee to apply, but if you get in, you get a studio. New York City, beautiful studio. It's run by a woman, Catherine Haggerty. She's also an artist, and she is someone who's helped me a lot. Like just has been so generous and helpful with me throughout my career.
Lovely.
And she like is just like one of those people that really loves helping artists, and so I think that's a great program in general. And it's also like in New York City, you get to study in New York City, so you get to like work here,
awesome.
See what it's like here. It's open to anyone, so that's one I would really recommend people applying to. Other ones, it's like hard because I mean there's so many, but I can't speak to all of them because I haven't done a ton of them, but I think generally people should go for the opportunities that they feel like would help them, and not just like for the name or something like that. Like look for artists who maybe are on a career path that you like it makes sense for you, and maybe just see the things that they've done. Maybe even reach out to them and ask them what they thought about whatever their experience was at any particular residency or any particular gallery or anything like that, and just like kind of be really selective with the things that you try to work into your studio practice or your career. Because I think there are also things that like they just don't fit,
100%.
I think there's like opportunities out there that it's just like it's not for you. It might be for someone else, but it's not for you, and you don't want to spend your energy or money applying to those things or trying to go after those things. So just like be a little bit smarter, do your research, see if something's really good for you. If you're like a city kid and you're like, I hate bugs or something, you're like, I don't do a residency that's in the middle of the woods somewhere. Or something like that.
100%.
I don't know, things like that.
That's good. Those are good.
Talk to other artists. People recommend stuff for all the time for all sorts of reasons.
100%. And then last question is 3 artists, realistic or not realistic, that you would want to have these questions asked to.
I would like to have these questions asked to. Oh gosh.
And what I mean by realistic and not realistic is like, it can be a dead person, it can be an alive person, it can be someone within a grasp that I could actually maybe interview, or someone that I not yet would be able to interview.
Oh, interesting.
And it doesn't have to be artists, it can be like musicians or any creatives that you find inspiring.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, unrealistic. I would love to hear like a interview with Phil Jackson.
Okay, yeah.
You know Phil Jackson?
I can't think of the
He
name.
is the coach who coached the Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls
Oh
and
my
the
God.
Lakers.
Can
And
you
like,
imagine if I was like,
he has the most championships.
so... and I
But,
ask
like-
him these questions.
But it's just like the idea that like he was so successful
Yeah.
at what he did in such like an unconventional way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and also managing people who are like
Yeah.
very like high ego people.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I kind of want to know what's
Yeah.
behind his brain and stuff like
I would
that.
have to like alter the questions a little bit towards basketball.
No. Just ask them straight up.
What studios?
What's your
do you
studio
take?
practice? Studio
He's like,
practice. Well, the locker room is my
yeah.
studio.
That would actually be pretty good.
But yeah, I mean, it's just in general, like, realistic maybe, like, honestly, I don't think anyone's super out of reach. I think most artists in New York City that I know, at least, are pretty receptive to, like, just being, like, I've definitely just, like, DM people that I don't even know in New York and be like, hey, can you help me with this thing? And,
Yeah.
like, when I was, like, learning how to airbrush, I literally just DM people. I'm like, hey, you're good at airbrush. Like,
Yeah.
I like your work. Can you, like, give me some tips?
Yeah.
Just, like, or something.
I feel like artists, like, it's such a like difficult career, and there's like a kind of like what's a like a bonding thing to that. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
we're all like, yeah, it's tough. So like when someone reaches out, there's like more of a like a I don't know. It's like an honor to like bring on your knowledge and like help people out. And
Yeah.
when people ask,
That's
it feels good.
everyone learns from each other, right?
Yeah.
It's like I think I'm a very big proponent of like not gatekeeping knowledge.
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean, me too, obviously.
yeah, I have like literally no, anyone could ask anything about my practice generally, and I will ask them. People have straight up asked me like how I make my paintings, like technique wise, and I will just tell them.
Mhm.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, there's no like secret gimmick to making my paintings.
Yeah.
And if there were, that's not really what painting is about, you know.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of just like, no, whatever you want to know. You want to know how I made this texture? Here's how you do it. Like whatever, doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there anything that you wanna? I mean, I don't know when it's gonna come out, but is there anything that you would wanna like plug or anything that you want people to like go see? I'm obviously gonna put your Instagram on.
Of mine, like I don't know, like not really particularly, to be
Yeah.
honest. I'm just like, you know, I would just say in general, I think if there's an artist that you like and you want to support, just like follow them, share their work. I think
Yeah.
that is like a very easy, no cost way to support someone.
artists. Yeah,
It's like
100%.
show this artist that you like to your network of people, you know, and the people who follow you, and it's like, so do that, show up for them, like go to the openings, talk to them,
Yeah.
learn about them. Artists generally generally want people to see their work. you
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
Yeah, I think most artists want people to see their work.
And if they don't, that's a little bit weird.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't need people to see my work to make it, but I want
You'd
people
like
to see
it, yeah.
see my work, because otherwise it's like if a tree falls in the forest, it makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. 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 But that was great.
Yeah.